What it do, YouTube Nation? This your man St. Louis '09, and I'm just shooting up this camera and I'm spitting, you know what I'm saying? No effects, no blue screen action, none of that, you know. I just want to get some things off my chest, you know. YouTube is becoming overly saturated with a lot of racism, you know what I'm saying? I was checking out some of my comments this morning and I'm seeing the N-word at least about 10 or 15 times in a comment, you know. All of this racism needs to stop, you know what I'm saying? I don't really think that it's cool for anyone to come to your page, you know what I'm saying, call you a faggot, you know what I'm saying? That's another offensive word, you know. Then they're using the N-word. I'm just going to say it, you know. They get on there and they say nigger this, nigger that, you know what I'm saying? It's really, really crazy, you know, and for all of those that sending those comments, you know, you have to really be mindful that there are children that's cruising YouTube and, you know, looking at comments and things like that, you know, so you have to be really mindful to the things you say. But, you know, I've been sitting back a while and I've just been, you know, continuing to let these comments come by my page and affect me, you know what I'm saying? So today, St. Louis '09 is going to put a stop to it, you know what I'm saying? Do you think it's fair for you to come by my page or anybody's page and say degrading things like call them a faggot, you know what I'm saying, or call them a nigger and stuff like that? Well, that's not cool, you know what I'm saying? So from now on, if you calling me a nigger and a faggot, I'm going to call you a cunt. How does that word make you feel? That is the word today, cunt. You know, if I'm a nigger and a faggot, then guess what that makes you? That makes you a cunt. Those three words are very offensive, but apparently folks don't realize that those words are very offensive. So, for all of those out there that's dropping by people's pages and leaving them degrading comments like using the F word, which is faggot, using the N word, which is nigger, I'm going to start using the C word, which is cunt. You know what I'm saying? You are a cunt. Coming to my page. How does that word make you feel, you cunt? That's not a good word, is it? But it is what it is, you cunt. You know? So you want to play the name games, you cunt? You know? I'm going to continue to call you a cunt until you stop showing all this racism here on YouTube. You know, St. Louis '09 is just a little steamed. You know, I'm still overall a good person, a good dude. I like to stay positive. But this racism here on YouTube is getting out of hand and it must be stopped. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to bring it to you like you bring it to me. You know, you call me a faggot, you call me a nigger, well, I'm calling you a cunt. You know what I'm saying? So let me know how you feel about this video. Remember, if you leave me any bad comments, cunt, I'm coming back for the person who posted that comment, and I'm also going to start putting you folks on blast for everyone to know, because St. Louis '09 is trying to root out all this racism that's going on here on YouTube. But I just need a few good soldiers to help me in my fight to root out all this racism. You know, together, people, we're going to get rid of these cunts, you know. We're going to show them what time it is, you know. But I'm out. Peace.